Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is well. And I'm going to start the third book, the last book of the three books that were written and compiled by Caroline O'Donoghue. It's been sensational so far, so I hope the third book will be just as sensational to finish this trilogy. A sensational finish to a spectacular series. Catherine Webber, and there's more of these compliments as well. So I'm going to read the back of the book. She appears in rare readings and only to young women. The housekeeper has been summoned again. Maeve and the coven must find a way to put the vengeful tarot spirit to rest for good. But the key lies deep in the housekeeper's past, where only Maeve can go, with dark powers creeping ever closer. Her last hope is for the friends to come together and unite their gifts. But is that what's written in the cards? The previous two books were all our hidden gifts and the gifts that binds us. And I thought the first book was fantastic, but the second book gave an extra twist. I hope you will enjoy this book, and I'm going to start now with chapter 1. So bear with me. Every Gift a Curse by Caroline O'Donoghue. Chapter 1, page 1. Here is something that they don't tell you about being cursed. The first thing you feel is fear, but the second thing, the thing you really notice, is beauty. The world is so beautiful when you don't think you have long to look at it. The colors shine brighter even now in December, twilight, when it's almost completely dark. The chilly mist from the river melts with the light of the city. And all can see is a gold and blue blur, a box of jewels you need to squint your eyes just to look at it. The sense of the city dancing in your blood. 36 days have passed since I became responsible for the death of 2 women. One who tried to kill me, the other who died trying to save my life. There you are, Fiona says, flinging open the door to NUALA's house. No matter how early I get to NUALA's house these days, she's always here first. Come on, the Apocalypse Society is already in session. She takes me through to the kitchen, and everybody's here. MANNON, studying a bound stack of papers. NUALA, taking something out of the oven. Rue, peeling an apple with a knife. LILLY, sitting on the kitchen counter. The question, were we directly responsible for the death of Heather Banbury and Sister Assumptia? Or was it all an accident? Does the housekeeper even care about accidents? Or does she swing the axe regardless of who's guilty? That's the problem. NUALA says mid-flow, gesturing with a wooden spoon. The housekeeper is revenge without judgment. She's not a thing who can make her mind up. She's a wind-up toy. Isn't that right, Maeve? I've even taken my coat off. How come No one ever says hello to me anymore. I say dignantly, what am I, dead? Not yet, Mannon muses, highlighting the line of the text with a yellow marker. But soon, perhaps. Well, today, Noel, to you, and it is Joux Noël to you too. That's French, because Manon comes from France. There have been 3 known housekeeper sightings spread out over the last 30 years. The first was when she was summoned by NUALA's sister, Heaven, who traded her own life to bring on the death of their abusive father. The second was Aaron, when he called her to break out of his far-right Christian rehab center. She took his friend, then Matthew Madison, a death that Aaron spent 3 misguided years trying to atone for within the gnarled fingers of the Christian Brigade. And the third, Lily, a botched tarot reading that ended in chaos and that brought us all together. Who knows what a fourth visit might bring about? Who might fall the victim and who might be spared? Aaron hasn't waited around to find out. I bent down to kiss Rue on the cheek, the movement unravelling my thick scarf. Hello, he says, nuzzling me. You are cold. Hey, Lily is drawing on the window with acrylic craft paint, her knees under the sill, feet trailing in the kitchen sink. She appears to be drawing a very complicated pig, its face filled with red and green swirls. What's this? A boar? A Yule boar? Of course. Lily pushes a strand of blonde hair back off her face. I didn't want to do something boring like a Christmas tree. I thought we would do something pagan for winter solstice, and that is on the 21st of December, for who does not know. Hence the Yule ball. Lily starts to smile to herself and keeps painting. Hence the Yule ball. Yes. When Lily and I summoned the housekeeper, it happened in days, and we hadn't even meant to call her. She was a spirit who was accidentally woken by a combination of my sensitivity, the well of the magic below the Kilbeg, and that's the river in Ireland, and the throbbing hatred Lily and I had for each other. Dory told me almost a month ago that she was planning on calling the housekeeper. Surely she would have done it by now. Dory's warning to me was clear. She spoke like a queen of the fairies, offering foul bargains through a glinting smile. The children wanted total domination over the well in Kilbeg and would do anything to get it. Anything, that is, except kill us. Murder in the magic world is more trouble than it is worth. Everything comes back to you eventually. But if you have just cause for summoning something, like the housekeeper, you can let her do the dirty work for you. The housekeeper, you can let her do the dirty work for you, so remember that. So where is she? But does she control it? That's a question I have. Or does Dory control the housekeeper? We must first understand Manon says, whether they truly do have just cause. We killed Heather Banbury, Rue says flatly. No, we didn't, Fiona responded, her voice unusually high-pitched. She accidentally died, while she was magically bound to our will. NUALA corrects. Although, if the children hadn't come to the tennis courts, it wouldn't have happened at all. So they could be equally responsible. In the eyes of who? Lily asks, still painting her ball. I don't know. NUALA throws her hands up. The great cosmic abacus that doles out fairness. Justice, Fiona says, holding up the tarot card. I might be the sensitive, but Fiona's eyes for tarot is now every bit as good as mine. She shuffles the pack and straightens the cards, tapping the deck twice on the table so they are neatly aligned. At that moment, as if in response, there is a tap on the door or the glass panel of the kitchen door. An orange-tipped magpie flutters outside, waiting to be let in. Fiona reaches for the handle. We cannot let that thing in here, says Manon, wrinkling her nose. Don't talk about Paola that way. So they've named the magpie. Fiona says defensively, Paola and Manon have very quickly become two great obsessions of Fiona's life, and so, of course, they are permanently in opposition. Manon shudders. I hate birds. Paola, the magpie, hops in and balances himself on the long arm of the tap. Lily shuffles her feet over, and Paola starts noodling the spout with his beak, looking for drops of water. Can I fill a bowl, NUALA? Fi asks. You can, love. Okay, Fiona, NUALA. Okay, Fionella, Manon protests. Manon has an abandoned child tendency to be overly formal with her own mother. Finn. Many, that is a nickname, Manny or Many. It sounds like many a lot, but it is Manny, Manny, and that is nickname of Manon. Manny, NUALA replies soothingly. He's no harm. I don't like him. I'm nearest the cupboard, so I fill a bowl of Paola for Paola. I even get him to filtered water out of the fridge. I don't have any sense of what Paola thinks or feels, but I do think that he prefers filtered water. He's Fiona's familiar, that pet, right? Your familiar is that witches have cats or dogs or birds or owls. They're a soulmate, but from the animal kingdom, for anybody that doesn't understand. Okay. After all, and Fiona does enjoy the finer things. Fiona rests her gaze on him, and after a moment he comes to perch on her shoulder. Well, I ask, trying not to sound too expectant. Does he have any news? Fi tilts her head for a moment, then closes her eyes. The magpie doesn't touch her, doesn't fuss with her hair. but it's obvious that they are communicating. Paola has become our little drone, scouting the city from the air. No, she says at last, blinking her eyes open. Are you sure? I press. How can you know? I know what Paola knows. He hasn't seen him, or the children for that matter. Are we still acting like they are two different things? A long line of skin has fallen from the apple that Rue is peeling, almost touching the floor. I mean, let's face it, he's gone back to them, hasn't he? We don't know that. I reply. We have no proof of that. Aaron disappeared after the conversation with Dory. On the day of Sister Assumptia's funeral, there are two ways to interpret the disappearance: betrayal or cowardice. It's hard to know which with Aaron. He was, after all, a master manipulator working on behalf of the right-wing religious cult, which indicates weakness and betrayal. He also had the courage to leave them and to radically reassess his own worldview, which signals bravery as well as character. Where are you, Aaron? The first time we met him, Aaron was mentally torturing teenagers in order to get them to join the children. Rue and I had a fight then on the bus home. He said Aaron and I were two sides of the same coin. I had flipped out, but it turned out that Rue was right. Aaron and I are both sensitives, both born to safeguard the magic of our respective hometowns, and had both failed at it. The longer I sit with that information, the more it disturbs me. The violence, the callousness of the predatory behavior I had witnessed in Aaron is also of that in me. 2. The only thing that separates us are the meager facts of our own lives, that I was born to a liberal, artsy family who let me trapeze around the place with tarot cards, and that Aaron was born to a right-wing Christian family who locked him up as soon as his sensitivity, as well as his OCD, started to show. I want him to come back, and not just because we need him. If we are going to fight the children, I want him to come back so he can remind me that we are different, and I want him to come back so he can reassure me that we are the same. Paola says that there's new missing posters. Fiona suddenly says, some boy. Who? He doesn't know. Paola can't read. Duh! Here is the implicit. But he can read the word missing. He can intuit it. NUALA puts a cup of tea down in front of Fiona. Where, Fiona? Fiona closes her eyes again. She's gathering a picture in the same way I gather mine with my telepathy, worming her way into a bird's memories, trying to see what he saw, pushing against the limitations of the fact that his brain is the size of a peanut. The writing is all blurry, she says, but he's white brown hair. The poster is, it's not in the city, it's in some village, in the countryside. I can see it. Like farm stuff in the ground. Manon has put her book down. Incredible, literally, she says, and means it. Manon is aloof about 80% of the time, but whenever she says something in French, she's being utterly sincere. Fiona's concentration breaks at the compliment. I don't know whether she has told Manon how she feels yet. She hasn't even told me how she feels about Manon yet. But she knows I know. When you know someone's brain so well, you can't help occasionally stumbling into it and picking stuff up. There's an awkward kind of intimacy to having a telepathic for a best friend. We both pretend I don't know things, and in that pretending there's kind of gratitude. Thank you for not confronting me about my own secrets. NUALA takes out a notebook and writes down the information that Paola has shared. That's the third in a month, she says. How many kids is normal to go missing? Rue asks. And yes, I realize that it is weird and profoundly tragic. Question. In KILBEG County, NUALA muses, maybe a dozen a year. Lily turns around. That feels like a lot, and she is, of course, thinking of her own disappearance. It was hard for Lily to understand at first that what was a profoundly liberating experience for her was the source of huge trauma for everyone she's ever known. But she's grasping it now, grasping life again and the emotions that come with it. You were an unusual case, Lily, NUALA says, inspecting the Yule Ball. Middle class, white, nice school. You got a lot of coverage, but but you know, immigrant communities, travel communities, or just very poor kids. We hear less about those kids of people, and KILBEG County is big. You are city kids, so you don't think about it. But all the towns have their own little issues. So if one kid, or average, goes missing a month, Fiona says, we have tripled our numbers in the last 30 days. And still no housekeeper, Rue adds grimly. And still no housekeeper, I repeat. Then, silently, to myself, and still no Aaron. And that was the end of chapter 1. And I will be getting chapter 2 pretty soon. But enjoy the introduction to the new adventure. I hope you've enjoyed it. Take care. Bye-bye.